Cut the rope, sir." The boy's voice barely reached the porch. Boone Ellison had his knife half out, hat brim dropping his eyes to shadow. 2 riders had dragged the woman to his steps. Jeb Drummond hitched a lariat to Boone's post and tugged it snug. "Company paper says she rides with us," he said. "Stand aside and your fence keeps its posts." Boone looked at the boy pressed to the woman's side, ribs showing under a shirt too big. "Please," he said again, "don't let 'em hang her." Boone set steel to hemp. The woman's eyes were steady and gray. She edged her body to cover the boy. "Name's Tess," she said. "He's Jack." The rope sighed apart. Jeb's grin fell. Boone slid the knife down. "You're on Ellison ground," he said. "If you've got paper, the original goes in my hand." "Writ of retrieval," Jeb answered, flicking a sheet with a red stamp. He kept it far. "Signed by Justice Pike. She stole from Red Rock Freight." "Law first," Boone said. "Bring Pike or Sheriff Jed. Until then, she isn't freight." His cracked pocket watch lay in his vest, dead since 5/17. It twitched once like an old heart and went still. Tess rubbed her freed wrists and lifted a silver thimble, bright even with dust. "I kept books," she said. "Then dates moved." Men followed. The other rider laughed like dry hinges. "Pretty talk. Pike's seal beats it." Boone raised the porch lamp a notch. "Jack," he said, eyes on Jeb, "you thirsty?" The boy nodded. Boone eased them inside and shut the door. The room smelled of coffee and wood. Jack drank in careful swallows. Tess stood straight. Rope burn ridged her skin. She kept her face measured. "We can leave by morning if you wish it," she said. "You already did," Boone said without heat. He tore a flour sack into bands and wrapped her wrists neat. She didn't flinch. "Jed Hollis is fair when he's not hemmed in. I'll send for him." Jack bit his lip. "You gonna keep her safe?" "Yes, son," Boone said. "On this porch and under this roof." "We don't take charity," Tess said. "Good," Boone said. "This ain't charity. It's a gate held open." He stepped out again. The riders waited in the dark. "Tell Pike I want his seal in my hand," Boone said. "Tell Red Rock to stop playing court out of a freight yard." "Sun up," Jeb said. "We come back with more rope." "Bring the sheriff first," Boone told him. He barred the door and stood while the house settled. He touched the old clock on the shelf. It ticked twice and quit, like even broken things will try for need. Jack ate quiet. Tess folded her hands. "Tomorrow they'll come," she said. "Tomorrow," Boone answered. "We'll meet them standing." He laid his knife on the table where he could find it blind. A coyote laughed once and thought better. Boone listened to the boards, to Jack's small breathing, to Tess's silence, like a woman holding her coat shut against a mean wind. He did not pray. He just promised the boy again. Near midnight he felt the grooves where rope had chewed paint on the porch post. He saw 3 horses under dawn and a coil of hemp new from the store. He saw Jed Hollis, too, square in the shoulders when the badge means something. He set his vest on a chair. The watch made a tired thump. Tess's thimble lay on the table like a stray star. "Get what rest you can," Boone said. "Yes, sir," Tess said. Boone sat by the door till the lamp burned low, listening for hoofs and for that watch to stir. If it did, he meant to be ready with a knife, a straight back, and the one word he had already chosen: law first. "We'll be ready." Boone rose before first light, set coffee to boil, and listened to the hush a house makes. The woman and the boy slept behind a cracked door. He backed away. Dawn laid a pale belt along the far hills. He checked the pump, tapped a slat into the corral, trimmed the porch lamp, and left it low. By 7 they were at the table. Jack cupped his tin mug like a found treasure. Tess thanked with her eyes. Rope marks pinked her wrists. She took out a silver thimble and a bone needle and closed the split seam in Boone's sleeve. Name the men, Boone said. Jeb Drummond, Rook Merrill. Both run for Red Rock Freight. The paper says retrieval and carries Justice Eldon Pike's seal. Clive Hargrove runs them. What do they want? Silence, she said, and a body to warn others. He saddled the bay and left them with the bar down. He rode into Pine Hollow past the livery, the smithy, the red lanterns, crooked blinds. Sheriff Jed Hollis stood on the boardwalk. You got the woman? She's under my roof. There's a boy. I can't seize a person on a company paper signed outside county, Jed said, and I can't stop Hargrove waving it till I've got a judge or wire says otherwise. Law first, Boone said, not law minted in a freight yard. Town council wants cheap peace, Jed told him. Freight moves, credit stays soft. He calls that order. Order without truth is quiet fear. Bring her to my back door at noon, Jed said. Doc Graves will mark injuries. Huck Talbot keeps the wire log. If county sent Pike authority, it's there. If not, I'll have words. Pike won't like you asking. He serves what pays him. Boone went to the smithy. Micah Red Elk lifted a shoe in tongs. Iron or sign? Sign, Jeb rides a horse with a crooked bite on the left hind. I forged it. Chip in the die, I'll swear to the mark. He scratched a chalk wedge and nicked one edge. Look for that rune. Soil remembers. At the store, Boone bought lampwick, coffee, and a spool of thread. The girl slipped him a folded slip. From Millie at the wire. 5 words. No county order on Pike. Back at Sagebrush Ridge, the house had a warmer sound. Jack had swept the stoop to new wood. Tess simmered beans and set aside the best spoon for the boy. She read the slip. The thimble flashed once. It buys time, Boone said. It buys courage, she answered. He showed her how the back latch lifted twice for a friend, once for a stranger. He raised the lamp to reach the gate. If I'm late, keep the boy inside. Don't argue a door with men born to kick them in. Understood. Jack stood close. Mr. Boone, if they come back, you gonna stand there again? I'll stand, Boone said. That's what a porch is for. Clouds shouldered the sun. The day cooled. Boone fixed a slat on the north fence and cleaned the rifle he didn't want to fire. He checked the watch in his vest. The cracked face held still. He set it on the mantel. It ticked twice and hushed. Near noon, he saddled up. We'll use the back alley, he told Tess. Doc Graves will treat you and put ink to what she finds. Huck will show the wire. Then we take it to Jed and let the badge carry the weight. If Hargrove rides in loud, let him. Noise ain't proof. Tess tied Jack's scarf. You ain't got to do this. Maybe I have to, Boone said. Jack took his hand without asking. The small weight felt right. They stepped off the porch together. The lamp burned steady behind them, a quiet sun for a smaller sky. Pine Hollow watched behind curtains, weighing noise against proof as noon drew near. They used the back alley, dust skirting their boots. Noon leaned heavy. The town held its breath. Boone kept Tess and Jack to the shade. Jed's back door opened on paper and pipe. Doc Graves got pulled to a berthing at Dry Willow, he said. She'll file formal in 2 days. Bring the woman then. 2 days? Boone said. That baby didn't make an appointment. Come on. Huck will show the wire. Huck's office clicked. No county order for Pike on any retrieval, he said. Last real seal was 6 weeks back. I'll swear to it when a bench asks. Rook Merrill filled the doorway. Company wants its pages, woman too. Paper first, Boone told him. Paper's a song we play after the dance, Rook said, and left. At the store, Boone set coffee, salt, thread on the counter. Mr. DeWitt, who minded credit, spoke to the room. Folks tied to trouble ought to keep light feet. Boone laid coins. Feet stay planted. Not if the ditch shuts, DeWitt said. I hear Sagebrush Ridge pulls more water than her share. Water goes by law, Boone said. Jack's hand was small in Boone's. The boy held 2 pennies like anchors. He trotted to Huck's window. "Sir, this pays for a message, says don't hurt my ma'am." Huck looked to Jed. Jed nodded. Huck pushed the pennies back. "Free today, son." Tess's breath caught. She set her silver thimble in Boone's palm. "I fix what I can." "Keep it," he said. "I will," she whispered. At Micah Red Elk's forge, heat rolled off iron. Micah held up a shoe with a nick like a crooked tooth. "That's Jeb's rune," he said. "Left hind, bad die. Find it and you find his trail." They started home by the long lane. 2 Red Rock hands were prying a board at Boone's lateral to choke his water. Boone set his sack down and walked slow. "Leave it." "A man minds his accounts," one said. "Start with your own," Boone answered. He set the board back with his heel and didn't raise his hands. The men weighed his eyes and left. Jack let out a breath he'd saved for a bad minute. On the ridge, the sky went old tin. Boone's watch lay in his vest like a stone. He did not check it. Back at the house, Tess scrubbed her wrists. Jack swept the porch again. He found a splinter of hemp and held it up. Boone fed it to the stove. "Men come with the dark," Tess said. "They often do," Boone said. "But they leave in it too. We make this porch a straight place." He trimmed the lamp, showed her the latch. Twice for friend, once for stranger. He set the rifle under the table and moved a chair to shield Jack's spot if lead flew. Then he split kindling slow and square. Jack tugged his sleeve. "Mr. Boone, can I pay you for the porch?" "You already have." "How?" "By standing on it." Toward evening, Jed rode up alone. "Hargrove's courting the council," he said. "He'll bring Pike and a choir tomorrow to sing that paper. I can keep order, not miracles. You bring calm and truth, and we'll see what holds." "Truth will hold," Boone said. "Sometimes it needs a nail." Jed tapped the porch post, eyes on the rope scars. "I'll be here at first bell." After he left, Boone watched the yard take on its night shape. One star caught the lamp glass and held a breath, then moved on. The house waited with them, boards quiet as a friend who won't leave. "Sleep in shifts," he told Tess. "I'll wake you at midnight." She nodded once. "Now, it won't," he said. He meant it for her and for the boy and for himself. The porch kept faith with them, and out past the cottonwoods a freight yard turned in its sleep and dreamed of being a courthouse. They came at first bell with dust. Clive Hargrove rode center. Justice Eldon Pike rattled up in a buggy seal box on his lap. Rook Merrill and 2 hands fanned. Boone Ellison waited on his porch. The lamp was trimmed low. Tess stood inside with Jack's fingers in her skirt. Sheriff Jed Hollis rode in and steadied the street by being there. "Morning," Jed said. "Company business," Hargrove answered. "We'll be taking the woman." Boone kept his voice level. "Original paper in my hand, not a wave from the saddle." Pike lifted the seal box. "This writ of retrieval is lawful within this county and any adjoining district where Red Rock trades." Boone looked to Jed. "That's so." "Truth is what the bench can stand behind," Jed said. "The bench stands behind me," Pike said. Hargrove smiled. "Hand her over." Boone stepped down one plank and held out his hand. "Show the original, Your Honor." "I keep originals," Pike said. "You may read a copy at my office." "Copies travel lighter than law," Boone said. Rook let a laugh scrape. "You got gall, fence rider." Micah Red Elk came from the lane, hammer in belt, eyes on hooves. He pointed at Jeb Drummond's left hind shoe. "Nick like a crooked tooth," he said. "I forged it." "Meaning what?" Pike asked. "Meaning he was at the yard the night dates moved," Micah said. Hargrove's jaw set. "We move dates when wagons miss the river." Boone set a freight tag on the rail. The red stamp sat crooked. "This fell from your man," he said. Date reads a day ahead of any receiving log. Huck Talbot will swear it. Pike glanced once and dismissed it. Ink dries wrong in heat. Law dries right or it ain't law, Jed said. He turned to Hargrove. Bring the woman to my desk with the original writ, or stand down till county reviews it. We don't fetch for our own town's tin star, Hargrove said. We make order. Boone heard Tess's thimble tick the table. He kept his hands at his sides. Sir, he told Hargrove, you can be strong without being wrong. You set yourself up as judge? No, as Porch. Pike opened the seal box. Inside lay a die with a chipped rim. Boone saw the crescent missing and remembered a blurred stamp on a night ledger. Read your order, Boone said. Pike read, smooth as varnish. The words sounded right and felt off like a map that showed water where the ground was dust. Tess stepped into view. Sir, she asked Pike, did you wire any authority for a retrieval this week? I am not bound to answer a suspect, Pike said. I am bound to ask, she said. Hargrove's patience frayed. Enough. Rook, Jeb, go. Jed's voice cut in. Don't try me. Silence set. Wind lifted a torn corner of the tag and let it fall. Noon tomorrow, Hargrove said. My office. We'll exhibit the paper and the lady will be remanded. No, Boone said. Noon tomorrow, sheriff's desk, public, witnesses, or not at all. Pike started to object. Jed saved him the breath. Public it is. Hargrove gathered his men with a nod. Hoofs drummed away. Micah thumbed sweat from his brow. That die chips like the one I mended last winter, he told Pike. Pike closed the box. Mind your forge. I do, Micah said. They left. Jed touched the rope scars on Boone's post. Keep that lamp trimmed tonight, he said. After he rode off, Boone stood. The house breathed behind him. Jack leaned against his leg. Tess's hands were steady. Tomorrow, she said. Tomorrow, Boone answered. He set the tag next to his dead watch. The crack across the glass took the red stamp and split it clean in two. Boone moved the morning like a man sharpening a blade. He set the tag by his cracked watch. Tess laid her silver thimble near them. Jack whittled a twig into a little soldier and stood at guard. Two short, one long, Boone said, trimming the porch lamp. If I flash that after dark, you pull Jack inside and bar the back. No talk through wood. Yes, sir. Jack, Boone said, if someone calls, you answer from behind the door. Yes, sir. Boone rode the wash to town and found Huck Talbot at the key. I need the wire log for this week, Boone said. Certified. Huck nodded. No county order for Pike. I'll copy the lines that matter and date them proper. You bring witnesses, I bring ink. At noon tomorrow we stand at Jed's desk, Boone said. Public. Then we make the noise honest. Boone crossed to Micah Red Elk's forge. Teach me what a court will hear. Micah set two shoes on the bench, one with the nick, one plain. He handed Boone each in turn. Feel that bite, he said. The crooked one catches cloth. Jeb's left hind. If you lift a clean print, the bench can see what my word says. How do I lift it? Lamp black and flour on oiled paper, Micah said, already mixing. Press and roll, I'll fix you a poke. Micah chalked steps on Boone's palm. You won't need me, he said, but I'll be there. At the store, Boone bought a ledger sheet and wrote a short account. Rope, riders, tag, dated forward, Pike's chipped seal. Back home, he set the account beside the watch. The watch ticked once like a witness. Tess washed the boy's shirt and pinned it by the stove. He asked if he can speak if they call my name, she said. Let him stand by me, Boone said. If he speaks, one line. What line? Law first. She nodded. They ate beans and salt pork. Boone slid the best piece to Jack. The boy tried to slide it back. Boone moved the meat to the boy's plate again. Not charity, he said. Wait on your legs. Jack blinked fast and bent his head. Toward afternoon, Jed rode in and handed a broadsheet. Public exhibit, noon, Pike to show writ. He means a show, Jed said. Better light than shadow, Boone said. We'll show too. Jed ran a thumb over the porch post where rope had chewed paint. Mind if I take a shaving? Take it. Jed lifted a curl and tucked it in his wallet. Marks tell stories, he said. When Jed rode off, Boone showed Tess the little kit Micah had mixed. We'll take Jeb's print before sunup, he said. They stable at the Red Lantern, alley mud holds. Won't they be watching? She asked. They watch doors, Boone said. Truth walks alleys. Boone banked the fire and set the lamp steady. He walked them through the path to Jed's door and quit. Jack brought the little soldier. Can he ride in your pocket? Sure, Boone said, slipping it next to the watch. Tess touched Boone's sleeve. Why help us? A porch isn't a wall, Boone said. It's where a man decides what crosses and what doesn't. She nodded. They slept in turns. The lamp held. Near false dawn, he woke them with a whisper. Time. Boone took the kit, the ledger, the tag. He pocketed the little soldier and the watch. 2 short, 1 long if trouble, he said. 2 short, 1 long, Tess repeated. Jack tested the words under his breath. Law first, like trying on a new hat. Huck would bring his log, Micah his word and rag. They stepped into a sky the color of tin. Boone led the alley path toward the Red Lantern, toward a print in mud and a noon where talk would be measured where all could see it. Now, false dawn found Boone and Micah in the alley behind the Red Lantern. Tin light pressed on puddles. Micah knelt. Left hind, he whispered. He dusted lamp black and flour on oiled paper and slid the sheet across a clean print. Press and roll. Boone pressed, rolled, lifted. The crescent nick showed sharp as a tooth mark. He slipped the sheet into the poke. A door scraped. Rook Merrill stepped through with Jeb. Look it, a porch lawyer, Rook said. Hargrove says we fetch the lady. Law first, Boone said. No original, no woman. Rook's lip curled. We'll fetch the kid then. Touch the boy, Boone said, and you'll hand your courage back 1 finger at a time. Jeb moved a boot to spoil the next print. Micah's hand set on the rag. Don't, he said. Rook swung first. Boone slipped it. The second caught his shoulder. He turned Rook into the wall. Jeb lunged. Micah's hammer rang off Jeb's spur. Iron shrieked. Jeb lurched back. Rook snatched the poke and flung the sheet into a puddle. Ink bled. Proof went gray. That all you had? Rook said. We'll take more, Boone answered. Jed's voice cut from the mouth of the alley. You boys playing court? Saddle up and leave. Rook spat near Boone's boots and went. Jeb limped after him, left hind ringing as the chip on his shoe caught stone. Micah fished the wet sheet from the puddle. The crescent nick still showed, faint but there. He held it to Jed. I can testify to the defect and the make, he said, but a bench likes a clean look. Jed nodded. Then we give the bench more. Boone's shoulder felt like a board split wrong. I'll stand at noon, he said. Pike stacked that room with voices, Jed warned. You bring proof and quiet. They cut back by the feed yard. Boone breathed against the ache. He pictured the knife on his table and the boy's soldier riding pocket guard with his dead watch. Back by the lane, the porch looked like a place a man could stay. The lamp in the window made a small sun. Tess opened quick and named the wound without asking. She bound the shoulder with a strip torn from a pillowcase. Will you raise your arm? He raised it. It hurt. That'll do. Jack stood very straight. Mr. Boone, if they take me, will you take her back? Nobody's taking you, Boone said. That's not what I asked. Boone met the boy's eyes and saw an old winter there. Yes, he said. If they take you, I bring her back. If they take her, I bring you back. That's the promise. Jack set the wooden soldier between the cracked watch and the freight tag, as if posting a guard. The soldier leaned a hair, stubborn. Boone told Tess about voices and noise. "We'll carry little and carry true," he said. He showed her the blurred print. "We still have the tag and Huck's log, and Micah's oath." Tess touched the print with one careful finger. "It's enough to start a door," she said. Boone drank coffee gone mean. He wrote 3 lines in the ledger: alley fight, ruined sheet, chip still seen. He packed Huck's slip and the tag. "Porch at noon," he said. "Public, all eyes there." "2 short, 1 long if dark falls ugly," Tess answered. Boone tightened his vest. The watch in his pocket tried to tick and quit. He slipped the boy's soldier beside it and stood. "Let the town decide what kind it wants to be," he said. They stepped off the porch into a day the color of pewter. Somewhere down the street, a man laughed hard at nothing. Boone kept moving. The ache in his shoulder felt like a price laid at a church door, coins set down, not much, but honest. By sundown, Boone's shoulder cooled to a steady throb. He waited until Pine Hollow hushed and Red Rock's yard lamps burned yellow. Stars hung like nails in a beam. Huck Talbot met him in the alley. "Clerk's chasing a ghost wire, 20 minutes, he said. "Micah's in the far shed with a wedge." Boone slid along stacked grain toward the office. Keys ticked and quit. He eased the sash with his knife and stepped in. Paper and pitch held the heat. A ledger lay open, neat as a Sunday shirt. Beside it sat Pike's seal die. A crescent chip marred the rim. Boone slid onion skin under the forward page and traced a week of dates, each line 1 day ahead of any honest receiving. He lifted the die. The chip pricked his palm like a mean seed. Footsteps. Boone slid behind a cabinet and counted to 8. The clerk muttered about wire and left the door ajar. Boone took 3 receipts. Same bad seal, same wrong day. Folded 1 for Jed, 1 for Huck, 1 for his vest. A hinge spoke, "Rook Merrill, smells like porch dust." Jeb Drummond, "Smells like fear." Boone went for the window. The sash groaned. He pressed it quiet and slipped through. His bad arm caught, flared white, and he hit gravel. A sliver of glass kissed his watch and lengthened the crack. He rolled under a wagon tongue and lay still. Inside, Rook flipped the lamp. "Ledger's wrong," he said. Jeb rattled a drawer. "Window's warm." Boone crawled for the shed. The door opened a hair. Micah's sure hand pulled him in. "Got it?" Micah asked. Boone showed the tracing and 1 receipt. Huck slid through a side slit. "Clerk's still hunting my mistake," he said. "We've 12 minutes. "Enough," Boone said. They worked by a lantern turned low. Huck copied the forward week and circled the crooked seal. Micah pressed the die into oiled paper. "Benches like what fingers can read," he said. Boots crossed the gravel outside. Rook barked. A wagon creaked. Huck doused the light. They felt their way to the rear steps, dropped into the drainage ditch, and let cold water take their ankles. They moved bent until the yard's yellow thinned to common dark. Boone looked back once. The building sat like a courthouse made of splinters. "Tomorrow we make it honest," he said. "Ink will talk," Huck said. "And iron," Micah added. They circled the sleeping town. The road wore the night like a plain coat. At Sagebrush Ridge, the porch lamp made a small sun. Tess opened before he knocked. Jack stood barefoot, jaw set. Boone laid the packet on the table. "Forward dated week," he said. "Chipped seal, tracing, enough to start." Tess touched the paper with her knuckles. "You hurt?" "Not new," he said. Jack rose on his toes. "Is the law awake now?" "It's opening its eyes," Boone said. He set the boy's wood soldier beside the cracked watch and the freight tag. The little figure leaned and steadied. A small courage settled with it. "Sleep," Tess said. "In a minute." Boone checked the latch twice, set his knife where his hand could find it, and listened while the house took on quiet. Huck tucked copies behind the flour tin. Micah slid the oiled impression under Boone's ledger page. "Noon at Jed's," Huck said. "Public." "Public," Boone answered. The lamp ran low. He sat by the door until the last thread of flame drew small and went out. When the room took a square of dawn, he heard his heart like a horse at a walk, steady for the miles left. He laid 2 fingers on the watch. It tried 1 tick and failed, true as steel. "Law first," he said, to the room and to the day coming on. An hour before dawn the lamp glass trembled. Boone Ellison woke as a horse would, one ear turned. He touched the latch twice. Tess was up. Jack's scarf tied neat, the silver thimble in her pocket. "Hoofs," she whispered. "2 short, 1 long," Boone said. She blinked the porch lamp. 2 quick, 1 slow. Leather creaked in the dark. Jeb Drummond rode in with Rook Merrill in 2 hands. New rope on Jeb's horn, Rook's coat open on his pistol. "Morning, Porch," he called. "Company come to collect." Boone stepped out, hat brim low. "Original paper in my hand," he said, "or ride light." "Paper's at noon," Rook said. "Woman's due now." Law first. It slowed them, not enough. Jeb jerked his chin. "Tie the boy. She'll come quiet." Jack stood in the doorway, straight and small. "Sir," he told Boone, "you promised." "I did." Boone held the rifle low like a broom. "Jed's on his way," he said. "Micah, too." "Sheriff can count hats," Rook said. "We only need 1 woman and a boy." Inside, Tess slid the wood soldier into Jack's fist and set Boone's knife where a falling hand would find it. Rook put a boot on the first step. Boone didn't give. "Come up," Boone said, "knowing the ground is straight, and so am I." Jeb swung his rope. The loop sang and dropped. Boone shifted a board left. The noose bit cedar, not bone. He snapped the line and threw the cut coil back. "Try timber," he said. A shot cracked from the lane. Sheriff Jed Hollis filled the road. "Hold." Micah Red Elk slid from shade with a short hammer, struck Rook's spur, sent him buckling, irons awake. Jeb clawed for his gun. Boone fired first, low. Jeb's pistol jumped and clattered. 2 of Hargrove's hands ran. The road took them. Rook steadied. "Noon," he said. "We'll talk at noon." "Bring pike," Jed told him. "Bring your tag book." They pulled back. The hoofbeats thinned. Pain found Boone's shoulder. He lowered the rifle and let out the breath he'd saved. Tess stepped out. She touched a splinter near his hip where a bullet had chewed wood. "Close." "Close is still ours," Boone said. Jack opened his hand. The wooden soldier had a new nick. He offered it. "He likes your pocket better." "He's done good work." Boone set it by the cracked watch and the red tag. The watch tried a tick and failed. Jed eyed the rope scars. "Keep your case where folks can see it," he said. "I'll keep the road clear." "Public at noon." Jed tipped his hat and went. Micah rolled the severed rope and cut 4 short lengths. He handed one to Jack. "Ties up tomato vines better than people." Jack smiled with half his mouth. Tess drew the lamp down and wiped soot. "I don't like owing," she told Boone. "You don't," he said. "You're paying in courage." She looked away. The air smelled of coffee and fresh cedar. Dawn laid a pale stripe across the sage. Boone cleaned the porch because straight things ask straight hands. He fed the rope pieces to the stove, 1 by 1. Each popped and was gone. "Eat," Tess said, "then we walk." Boone nodded. The boy counted the pops and stopped at 4 like 4 meant luck. Boone thought about benches and chipped seals and what a town chooses in front of itself. He thought about a porch that had learned to stand. "Law first," he said. "Law first," Tess echoed. Jack lifted his chin, and together they stepped inside to bread and beans, a table set like a small defense, and a noon that would either bless the porch or break it. By noon, sun would climb and talk would be weighed at Jed's desk, ink, not rope ruling. Noon laid a white square on Sheriff Jed Hollis's desk. The door stood open so every voice could land. Boone came with Tess and the boy. Micah Red Elk and Huck Talbot followed. Clive Hargrove and Rook Merrill pushed in. Justice Eldon Pike set a seal box down. Jed raised 2 fingers. Public exhibit, keep to the point. Pike raised a paper. Writ of retrieval under my seal. The woman is remanded to Red Rock. Boone held out his palm. Original, Your Honor. I don't surrender originals, Pike said. Then it's not law, Boone said. It's noise. Huck set a wire log on the desk. No county order for any retrieval this week, he said. These are my lines. I'll swear to them. Micah laid an oiled impression of a left hind shoe. Crooked bite, he said. I forged that die. Jeb Drummond rides it, same as the yard when dates moved. Rook snorted. Blacksmith tales. Metal keeps its truth, Micah said. Boone put down a freight tag. Found on Rook yesterday. Date is 1 day forward of any honest receiving. Huck's log agrees. Pike flicked the tag. Ink wanders. Authority does not. Tess asked, steady, Sir, why does your seal die have a chip? I see no chip, Pike said. Huck slid a tracing and 3 receipts with the same wrong day. Jed studied the crescent notch, faint in the paper. Jed faced Pike. Stamp a clean line in front of everybody. Pike kept a hand on the box. I won't be bullied by a badge that answers to a ditch and a feed bill. We're asking your seal to tell the same story twice, Boone said. Hargrove smiled without heat. We all know what this is. A rancher sweet on a stray, jamming commerce with feelings. Tess set her silver thimble on the desk. This is what I use, she said. Needle and numbers. I kept your books till dates moved and women went missing on paper. I am not stray. Let the boy talk, the livery widow said. Jack looked to Boone. Boone knelt so they were level. The dead watch in his vest felt heavy. He nodded once. Jack faced the desk. My ma wasn't freight, he said. They had a paper and folks looked away. She told me to be brave. I didn't know where brave lived. This grows sentimental, Hargrove said. It grows public, Jed answered. Mr. Pike, stamp the county record here, or stand down and bring the original to the judge at the seat. Pike's mouth pinched. He opened the box and set the die in Jed's hand. The crescent chip showed where a rim should have been. Jed inked, pressed, and held the page to light. The notch bit the circle like a rat took a bite. Same mark, Huck said. Same, Micah said. Jed stacked the tag, the log, the shoe print, the traced receipts. He faced Hargrove. Until review, the woman stays free. Any move on her or the boy is unlawful. Rook leaned in. You can't hold Red Rock. I can hold this street, Jed said. Pike took back his die, face red. We are not done. Boone breathed slow. The watch tried 1 tick and quit. He touched Jack's shoulder. The boy did not lean. He stood. Outside, sun hit the dust like fresh lime. Tess pocketed the thimble as if pocketing a promise. People stepped aside to make a path. Law first, Huck said. Iron next, Micah said. Stay ready, Jed told him. Men who lose face try to fix it with rope. Boone walked Tess and Jack into the light. The town had seen. That did not make them safe, but it made them less alone. For the first time in a long while, the porch felt like more than boards and nails. More like a place truth could stand and not be pushed off. They kept walking, quiet and upright. The half-moon hung like a clipped coin over Sagebrush Ridge. Boone trimmed the porch lamp low and set his rifle where his hand knew it blind. Tess tucked Jack behind the inner wall. Her silver thimble rode steady in her pocket. 2 short, 1 long, Boone said. I know it, Tess answered. Hoofs felt their way down the lane. Oil stink came first. Rook Merrill called, easy as a card trick. Porch, company claims its property. This house holds people, Boone said. Bring the original or ride light. A bottle skittered in. Boone snapped the lamp cold. Flame licked where no straw ran. Micah Red Elk slid from the side and smothered it with a wet sack. Bad fire, he said. Try law. Jeb Drummond swung down, new rope on his horn. 2 more hats ghosted behind. Boone did not plan on miracles. Sheriff Jed was a mile if Huck's note found him. Rook climbed the steps. Noon made you bold. Law made me plain. A shot came thin and high. Boone answered once, low, splintering the rail near Rook's sleeve. Tess pulled Jack under the table. Breathe with me, she whispered, and the boy matched her count. Micah's hammer rang off a wagon pin. A wheel sagged and pinned one rider to his saddle. The man quit shooting. The fight tilted. Smoke stung and cleared. Ash fell softer. Jeb threw. The loop fell where Boone's neck had been and bit the post. Boone cut it and kicked the cut coil aside. Rook drove in. Boone met him with the rifle stock, quick and short. Rook's pistol skittered. Jeb lunged for the table. Jack slid the wooden soldier across the boards like a pebble under a hoof. Jeb stepped on it, rolled and hit his knee. Boone pinned him and took his gun. Done, Boone said. Don't hang me, Jeb blurted. Nobody hangs tonight. From the lane, the badge voice cut clean. Hold! Jed Hollis and 2 men filled the road. Guns down, hands up. Rook froze. The other 2 ran. Jed didn't chase. He stepped to the porch, clicked iron on Jeb's wrists. Assault and attempt at unlawful seizure, he said. Rook spat. You'll make this town poor. I'll make it straight, Jed answered. Tess came forward and before anyone stopped her, wrapped a clean strip around Jeb's cut knuckles. He stared like it burned. Jack stood with his chin up. Why? Jeb muttered. Because we aren't you, Tess said. Not cruel. A door shutting soft. Micah tapped the ruined wheel. They walk or they quit. Jed nodded. Boone, evidence stays sealed till the county seat. Huck's copies sit in my desk. We ride at first light. Boone put the tracing, the freight tag, and the oiled shoe print into a flour tin, tied it with twine. Jed pressed wax and bit it with his pocket star, leaving a nicked star. Rook backed the steps, empty and mean. Hargrove will buy a judge. Boone lit the lamp again. Then he can watch it break in daylight. The yard went quiet. A horse blew, cuffs clicked. Boone's shoulder thumped once and settled. Inside, Jack lifted the wooden soldier. It wore a new scar. He set it by Boone's cracked watch and the red tag. The watch tried one brave tick and fell silent. Sleep in turns, Jed said. At dawn we move. Keep simple. Keep public. Tess set coffee. Nobody drank much. The room held the tired peace a kitchen knows after rude company is gone. Boone stood at the door until the night cooled. The half-moon rode west, thin as a promise kept. He laid his palm on the post where rope had bit and felt fresh cuts against old scars. Law first, he said. Law first, Tess answered. And together, Jack said, quiet as a prayer. They rode at first light, the waxed flour tin tied to Boone's saddle under the sheriff's seal. Tess rode the mule with Jack behind her. Jed Hollis led. Micah Red Elk rode drag. Huck carried a copy of the wire log. Jeb Drummond rode between 2 deputies, cuffed, a short lead from his wrist to a horn. Morning came thin and pewter. The canyon walls rose like old bones. Keep it steady, Jed said. Boone's shoulder ached where Rook had landed a fist. He watched the rim for hats that didn't belong. At the narrows, a stone ticked. Jed lifted a hand. Hold. Rook Merrill's voice floated down. Turn loose the woman and the paper. Law first, Jed answered. A rifle cracked high. Micah shoved Tess and Jack under a shelf and took the bay by the reins. Boone slid from the saddle and pulled Tess tight to rock. putting himself between the canyon and the pair. "Stay clipped to me," Boone told the boy. "Yes, sir." Two riders rushed the line. Jed shot once, low, a cinch parted and a saddle rolled. The second rider reached for Jeb's rope. "Cut him free!" he yelled. Boone moved into his path, bad arm carrying the rifle like a stick. The man saw his eyes and decided against it, fired wild and chipped a stone that sang. Rook slid down a goat path fast as gilt. A small pouch hung at his belt. A knife gleamed in his hand for Jeb's lead. Jeb twisted, white as tallow. "Don't cut me loose," he barked. "They'll hang me for what I know." "Nobody's hanging today," Boone said, and knocked Rook's wrist with the rifle barrel. Micah tapped Rook's forearm with the hammer. The knife fell. A deputy took Rook down clean. "Speak," Jed told Jeb. Jeb swallowed. "Pike told me to move dates, said the seal would make it smooth. Hargrove paid across the counter. Rook carried a spare seal when Pike didn't want to be seen at the yard. It's in that pouch." Jed lifted the pouch and passed it to Boone. Inside lay a small sealed die, built to burn wax fast. A crescent chip bit one edge. The same bad tooth. Huck inked a line. "Confession by Jeb Drummond, witnessed by Sheriff Hollis and party," he wrote. "Spare die seized from Rook Merrill." Rook spat dust. "You'll run this town broke." "Maybe," Jed said, "but we'll know how." A third rider tried the rear. Boone lifted his rifle, not to kill, only to place that weight a decent man must carry when he says no. The rider measured it and chose distance. Tess touched Boone's sleeve. "Jack's fine," she said. The boy's face was pale but set. He handed Boone the wooden soldier. "He wants a view," Jack whispered. Boone set the toy on a flat rock where it could see the road ahead, stubborn as a fence post. Jed nested the spare die in the flour tin, warmed a nub of wax, and pressed his pocket star. The seal took with a nick where the badge had a history. He held it up so the canyon could see. Jeb sagged. "I'm tired of being scared," he said. "Tell it straight at the seat," Jed answered. They mounted up. Boone gave the soldier back. Jack slid it into Boone's vest next to the cracked watch. The watch made one brave tick and lay still. They cleared the Narrows by noon. The land opened like a hand. Tess rode quiet, eyes forward. Micah hummed a bar of a hymn and quit. Huck capped his ink. Boone touched the tin with 2 fingers. Warm as bread. He thought of a kitchen lamp, a porch post with old scars and new ones, a boy who had learned where Brave lived. "Law first," Boone said. "Law first," Tess echoed. "And together," Jack said, and Boone believed him. They rode toward the county seat now. The county seat smelled of ink and pine soap. Judge Horace Malloy took the bench, a square man with eyes more used to wheat disputes than gunfights. Sheriff Jed Hollis set a flour tin on the clerk's table. Wax bore the bite of his pocket star. "State your matter," the judge said. "Fraud in process and an unlawful seizure," Jed answered. "We ask the court to hold Red Rock Freight and Justice Eldon Pike to answer." Clive Hargrove sat forward. Pike kept both hands on a small seal box, like it might fix the day. Boone Ellison stood with Tess and the boy behind him. Micah Red Elk and Huck Talbot took the rail. Jed opened the tin. Inside lay forward-dated receipts, Huck's wire log copy, an oiled shoe impression, and a spare seal die, crescent-chipped. Huck stepped up. "These are my lines from the telegraph," he said. "No county order authorizing any retrieval this week or last." "Mr. Pike?" the judge asked. Pike lifted his chin. "My office issues writs under my authority." "Under whose order?" Malloy said. "My discretion." "Your discretion does not replace a docket," the judge said. Micah held the oiled paper to light. "That nick on the left is mine," he said. "Bad die marked Jeb Drummond's left hind shoe. I forged it. I can spot it in mud or on a man's floor." Jeb, pale, raised his cuffed hands. I moved dates when Pike told me. Hargrove paid cash. Rook carried a spare seal so the judge's light wouldn't fall on the yard. Boone set a freight tag on the pad. Found on Mr. Merrill, he said. Stamped a day ahead of any honest receiving. The seal circle's wrong because the die is chipped. Bring the die, Malloy said. Jed passed the spare and the one from Pike's box. The judge pressed both into warm wax. Each took the same crescent bite. Mr. Pike, Malloy said, you have played court out of a freight yard. Mr. Hargrove, you bought the tune. Hargrove rose. Sir, my business keeps men fed. Your business keeps them quiet, Malloy said. He pointed his pen at Tess. Who are you in this? Tess Moran, she said. I kept books till dates wandered and women vanished on paper. When I spoke, men came with rope and a writ that smelled like a lie. Malloy looked to the boy. And you, young man? Jack swallowed. I asked a rancher to cut the rope, he said. He did. A quiet settled. Malloy set down his pen. The court finds probable cause, he said. Warrants will issue for Clive Hargrove and Eldon Pike on fraud, conspiracy, and attempted unlawful seizure. Jeb Drummond is remanded as a material witness. Rook Merrill is held for assault and tampering. Deputies moved in, plain and firm. Sheriff Hollis, Malloy said, you will safeguard the woman and the child. This county will not make courts of porches. It will bring its fists into daylight where they can be counted. Yes, Your Honor, Jed said. Tess touched the thimble in her pocket but did not lift it. Boone felt his cracked watch rest like a stone. When the gavel dropped, the watch gave a single honest tick and lay quiet again. Outside, folks stood back to let them pass. Hargrove and Pike were led away between faces that looked like doors closing. Jack pressed the wooden soldier into Boone's hand. He wants you to carry him, he said. I will, Boone said. They went into a day that felt squared and plumb. Jed fell in beside them, hat low. Huck folded his log. Micah rubbed iron dust off his palm. Law first, Boone said. Law first, Tess answered. And together, Jack said. Boone slid the soldier beside his watch and felt it settle in. By sundown the warrants were iron. Deputies walked Clive Hargrove and Eldon Pike to jail. Boots on plank, no parade. Boone watched from the steps with Tess and the boy. Sheriff Jed Hollis stood easier, like a beam set plumb. Judge Malloy called them back. Preliminary orders, he said. Hargrove remanded without bail. Pike removed and remanded. The gavel hit once and held. Outside, folks gathered for breath, not blood. The livery widow pushed through. Bring that child by, she told Tess. I'll clear a corner, chalk, table, sunlight. A town needs a school more than a freight yard needs a lie. Tess only nodded and squeezed Jack's hand. Boone felt the squeeze like it had bone. Jed handed Boone a folded page. Protective order, he said, posted. Anyone tries again answers to me and to Malloy. Boone read slow. The ink steadied something loose in him. Obliged. Keep your porch straight, Jed said. We'll keep the street. Micah Red Elk stood with forge dust in his lines. Huck Talbot tapped the telegraph case. Words can hold, Huck said. Laid right. They rode home in thin gold. Sage gave a clean smell after heat. The land looked honest. At Sagebrush Ridge the porch showed its scars. Boone lit the lamp and set the flour tin by his cracked watch, the freight tag, and the wood soldier. He laid out each piece like a man counting posts, things that held when talk didn't. Doc Nellie Graves came after dark. She marked Tess's wrists, signed her affidavit, touched Jack's hair, and eyed Boone's shoulder. Swing light a week, she said. Don't brag to your pain. Yes, ma'am. When the house settled, Tess worked a stub of pencil. Boone poured coffee and reached for his watch, but drew a folded scrap he didn't remember tucking there. Ruled paper, a child's lines. 4 careful letters, Home. A thumb smear crossed the O, brown. Boone knew the color. Tess watched him see. He feared he'd forget his letters, she said. I told him we learned them twice. Once alone. Once when somebody stands with us. Jack searched Boone's face. Boone set the scrap on the table like a small flag in earth. You did fine, son. The watch tried one tick like a throat clearing and went quiet. Tess laid her silver thimble beside the scrap. I can mend shirts, she said. Maybe I can mend a room with a few desks. Boone pictured sunlight on chalk dust. We'll haul boards, he said. Micah squares better than a level. Iron turns to hinges, Micah said. Jed tapped the porch post. Council will chew, he said. But they'll come around. A school eats less than a fight. Neighbors came, said a plain word, moved on. Billy from the mill set down a cracked bell. Still rings, he said. Crack just makes it honest. Boone stood in the doorway and let the room be busy without noise. The lamp laid a coin of light on boards where rope had burned a black arc. He set his palm there. Not today, he told that old scar. Then, softer, to the letters on the scrap, home. Jack sagged asleep at the table. Tess eased him to a blanket. Boone hung the order by the door where a hard man must read it before he could lie to himself. He slid the child's scrap under the cracked glass of his watch so the word rode the break like a bridge. Tomorrow, Tess said. Tomorrow, Boone answered. Outside, coyotes argued distance and let it go. The house held steady. The porch kept faith. Boone set the broom by the jamb, squared the chairs, and left the little soldier on the sill, chin up, watching the dark as if it knew the way through. The house held a new quiet, the kind that comes after a bell rings true. Boone set his hat on the peg and stood at the porch rail where rope had chewed paint. Tess swept a last curl of ash from the step. Jack chalked letters on a scrapboard. Home again, square and proud. Boone took the cracked watch from his vest. Under the glass lay the boy's word. Leave it up, Tess said. Let time find us tomorrow. Dawn comes either way, Boone said. He hung the watch on a nail above the rail. It ticked once, brave, then settled into a stillness that felt more like keeping than quitting. Neighbors came quiet. They set down what towns bring when they mean to be better. Slate pencils, clean slates, 2 readers, a handful of nails. Micah Red Elk leaned a plank where he meant a bench. Huck Talbot brought a tin sign painted by an uneven hand. School. Sheriff Jed Hollis slid a copy of Malloy's order under glass on the post. Bell still rings, Billy said, and proved it. The crack put a sad sweetness in the tone. Jack jumped, then laughed. Tess touched his shoulder. Jed tipped his hat. Stand down. Order holds. County riders will sit the seat a while. Obliged, Boone said. Keep the porch straight, Jed told him. We'll keep the street. He nodded at the lamp. Let it be just a lamp again. Boone turned the wick. The flame thinned to a patient bead. Micah shoved the plank tight. Bring 2 more at sunup, he said. We'll square a desk, maybe a second for whoever shows up hungry for letters. Hungry's the word, Tess said. She touched the silver thimble in her pocket and, after a breath, set it on the sill like setting a key. I'll mend shirts to buy chalk. Dusk found a single star above the cottonwoods, bright as a nail-head. The yard made sense again. Boone brewed coffee and set 3 cups. Jack held his with both hands. Tess watched the street from the corner of her eye. Not fear now, just a careful habit learning slack. Tomorrow we start the benches, Boone said. And a door that doesn't rattle, Micah added. I'll bring primers, Huck said. Boone laughed once, low. He left the watch on the nail. He liked the look of it keeping still. Sir, Jack said, what's a porch for when nobody's coming with a rope? Boone weighed it. It's where you wave a tired rider in and make room for his boots, he said. where you say yes when the right thing knocks, and no when the wrong thing does, where you can see tomorrow coming without hiding from it. Jack shaped that with his tongue and looked satisfied. When the neighbors were gone and the lamp burned with ordinary light, Tess pinched the wick. The yard breathed out. "I've been scared a long time," she said. "So have I," Boone said. "Fear runs like a creek. Law puts a bridge to it." She set her hand on his sleeve. "Not today." "Not today," he answered. Jack, half asleep, leaned into Boone's hip. Boone lifted him and set him on the bed near the stove. The wooden soldier went on the sill, chin up, watching nothing in particular as if it were his job. Boone laid a blanket, touched the boy's hair, and felt the porch under his feet, like land he could sign his name to. They stood a while longer in a quiet, not absence, but presence. Then Boone hung his hat, slid the judge's order behind the glass where a hard man must read it, and left the watch on the nail to finish its stopping. Morning would ask for boards, chalk, and the kind of patience that builds a school out of plain kindness. Night asked for nothing. The porch held. The promise stood, standing. When the dust finally settled, it wasn't gunfire or rope that held Pine Hollow together. It was a porch lamp, a child's word for home, and the law written plain for all to see. Out here on the frontier, justice often walked on tired boots, but it still walked. If this story touched something in you, maybe a memory of standing your ground or a time when kindness outshone fear, I'd be honored to hear it. Share your thoughts below and let the porch light of your own story burn a little brighter.